Hey guys, Gabriel from Ungraceful today, and today I have another figure for you. This time it's a JOJO's Bizarre Adventure figure from Molto Bene. This is their Statue Legends range, and I'll be going into more detail on that in a bit. Unfortunately my box got a bit beat up in transit and this has been poked out, but all in all, I think the figure's alright. So let's take a quick look at the box. Top here we have some shiny text which says Crazy Diamond, name of his stand. Down on the bottom we have the profile of the figure, the name of the range, where it's from, and again the Molto Bene, the producer of this figure. On each side we have JOJO's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, again shiny text, a big profile of the figure itself from the front, and Crazy Diamond again in this shiny text, and that's cloned on either side. Then on the back we have Statue Legends, Crazy Diamond, and some more shots of him from the front, from the back, and from the side. So let's actually take it out and take a look at him from these angles. It's fortunately all in one piece, and a couple of things I want to say first. First of all, my only gripe with Statue Legends figures is we've got a 1/8 scale figure, so it's not that large, but the base is always huge. For nice simple black bases, which I'm a fan of, but they're always absolutely massive. Obviously not much you can do about him with his dynamic pose, but a lot of them have got these circular bases which I think are unnecessarily large. So let's get back to taking a look at the figure. So Crazy Diamond himself is actually quite simple. He's got this sort of body armour and tiny bits of metallic to him. So there isn't a huge amount to try and make this figure sort of stand out and pop. So to try and make an impressive piece I think is actually quite difficult with this one. But the first thing we notice straight away is, as with other the Molto Bene figures, our shading is really well done. I think the light is kind of making it difficult to see, so I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see here on the back we've got airbrushing on all the armour panels with sort of central light coming down and bursting out into darker colours. So I think that's the main draw of this paint scheme. Is it's very basic, but we have this nice airbrush detail of different shading going on. And we have the muscle lines where the lats come down. More muscle definition in the back of the legs and the calves, here in the glutes. So this figure doesn't lack for detail when it comes to muscle tone. Let's look at him as an overall piece. He's got great motion captured in the pose. Obviously we've got this dynamic punching action going on. We've got the follow through with the elbow being swung back, really putting his weight into it. You feel that there's motion going on in this figure, and his face is sort of capturing this. He's in it, he's in the battle absolutely. And you can just about make out the tiny heart on his chin and the detail on his teeth and his tongue. So not much you missed out here, really cleaning the eyes and the painting on the silver. There's not a huge amount of detail on these pipes, maybe they could have gone in a bit more of the shading, but this is quite a cheap figure compared to some of the Statue Legends, and overall compared to a lot of figures out there, we're looking at a much cheaper piece. I picked this up for about, I believe, 38 Great British pounds. I'll put translations for their currencies down there somewhere. But my first impressions are, for a stand that's this simple, they've done a good job of sort of putting in the detail, making sure his muscles are there, because that's like the main part of this, is making sure the muscular detail is there, and giving us some nice shading. So we'll take a look at some measurements and some size comparisons, and then I'll give you my overall thoughts. His height from the bottom of his base is just over 6 inches, maybe 6.2 inches to the absolute top of these higher pipes up here. His width from the front of his fist to the back of his leg is about 6.3, 6.4 inches, and from the edge of his base to the edge of his base is just under 6.5 inches. And the width of his shoulders from elbow to the edge of his fist is just shy of 4 inches, about 3.8 inches. Here he is on a delve shelf by himself. I can see he's a 1/8 figure, so he's not filling too much space, but the back of his leg is meaning he is taking quite a lot of space depth-wise. Here he is next to Kakyoin, who is also a Statue Legends figure, so same scale, same company, as you can see. With his bending down posture, he's still just about bottom of Kakyoin's head, so he's quite tall considering his posture. And here he is next to the 1/6 Joestar from Presto. As you can see, he's just about waist height, so he's about half the size of a 1/6 scale figure. So to give my thoughts, I've assembled just a few of my other Statue Legends figures. As you can see, I'm a big fan, and the quality of these figures is great. The colouring, the shading, the way they've captured the characters is all brilliant. But the reason I've done this is, especially the Star Platinum next to him, you can see the level of shading that's captured in Star Platinum on his muscles, and I think that this particular Crazy Diamond figure is done. If we put Star Platinum as an average of this is what we expect from Molto Bene as a 5, Crazy Diamond here is maybe a 3.5, maybe a 4, and I feel like he needs that extra edge because he's so basic of a design to really give him that pop and that edge, and I feel like it's just not quite there. So I want to say as a whole, he really fits into the Statue Legends range. There's nothing wrong with him as a figure, but as a piece I feel like he could be improved slightly, which makes me put him in at about a 7, maybe a 7.5, absolute max for this figure. So a good figure. If you have other JoJo's figures, obviously I can't deny, if he's going to fill out your collection, go through it, absolutely, especially at the price point you can pick him up for nowadays. But as a solo piece, not hugely impressive. He's not a showstopper, he's absolutely not a showstopper, he's nowhere near, I think, as impressive as Star Platinum is over here. There's more motion, there's just a lot going on with Star Platinum, and his face is brilliant. Everything about this figure makes him one of my favourites. With this, he's just another piece in the collection, another solid piece, nothing standout, nothing brilliant. So, all in all, if you're a JoJo's fan, you have a lot of pieces, I'd recommend picking them up. But if you're just looking at figures, start your collection sort of bits and pieces, wouldn't be my first recommendation for sure. But this brings me on to the Statue Legends range as a whole. I think it's the JoJo's line. The only thing that comes close is Banpresto has bits and pieces, but it's nowhere near as enormous as the Statue Legends line is. If you go into the description, there's a wiki link to all of the Statue Legends figures, and you'll see the only range that even comes close to that amount of figures and the level of detail and quality is kind of the action figures that they do, the figure art action figures, and those are obviously, they have the joints, they have the paint's just not quite there. There's a lot of things that are different to me, they don't appeal to me as figures, what these do. So a smaller 8th scale, some of them are really pricey and you might be looking at buying the other colour variants, like my Star Platinum here is a 2nd colour variant because it's significantly cheaper. But I think if you're looking at JoJo's lines altogether, this is the one to go for, and it's another decent piece to add to the collection. He may be the most underwhelming piece so far, but that might be part and part due to the basicness of the design and just the fact that they've obviously had to mass paint them. I feel like if it was a bit more expensive and the painting was just a bit better, just slightly more depth, more detail, bit more detail put into the silvers particularly, it'd be just there, because I think the sculpt is fine. So just to round up my sort of little rant there, Statue Legends line as a whole is great. This figure, I feel I could spend a bit more time on it, but it's still a solid piece. So all in all, it's a great range. If you're looking for JoJo's figures, I definitely recommend picking them up. They are smaller, but slightly cheaper. And this piece, all in all, he fits in well, but he could do with just that little extra touch to make him go from good to great. So until next time, have a good one. I'll see you soon.